Can the Steam Deck play the new Resident Evil 4 Remake? What kind of performance does it get? How many frames does it get? What are the best graphic settings? Is it Steam Deck compatible? The most important question. Well, we're going to cover that in this video, guys. I'm going to take you through some of the gameplay clips, showing you what kind of frame rates you can get, and also, more importantly, show you what kind of settings you need to use to get the best out of it on the Steam Deck. Anyways, guys, I'm Blaze2k. Please like, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications on Steam Deck content. I post every day, multiple times a day, and also go check out our Amazon wish list with all the best Steam Deck accessories you want to upgrade and level up your Steam Deck experience. I'll put the link in the top comment of this video and the video description. Go check it out, go bookmark it, go share it with friends. I'm always adding cool stuff. Anyways, guys, let's get into it. Let's go. So guys, this article comes courtesy of Rock Paper Shotgun. We're going to take a look at the article, see what they've got to say about it, about Resident Evil 4 running on the Steam Deck, the best settings, and obviously we're going to take a look at some gameplay clips of it actually running on the Steam Deck. So without further ado, let's jump in and see what the article's got to say. So this is the Resident Evil 4 Remake is a mostly cool runner on desktops. And good news, if you've recently picked up a certain handheld PC in the sales, its Steam Deck performance is actually alright too. Maybe not the battery sipping, frame rate abundant extent of the very best Steam Deck games, but with the right settings, Resident Evil 4 can keep its burlap-sacked head well above 30 FPS, even in the most visually demanding scenes. Now, this is a game that I'd expected to hopefully maybe hit 60 FPS. I mean, I know it's an older game that's remastered. Haven't seen more modern games hit 60 FPS, get the high 50s to 60. You know, I was kind of hoping this thing would get close. But even if we can get 30 FPS for a game like this that isn't a first-person shooter, I think 30 FPS is a pretty reasonable ask, right? So, I've worked out a couple of setting combinations for you to choose from, but first the basics. Although Valve haven't rated Resident Evil 4 for the Steam Deck compatibility at the time of writing, I fully expect to follow the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remakes in earning either playable or coveted verified status. The Deck's controls are a good fit, taking advantage of the trackpads and as alternate aiming or weapon select inputs. Text is always legible on the 7-inch 1280 by 800 display. I'm a few hours in and haven't experienced any issues with improperly playing cutscenes or audio either, though I have followed Valve's advice of installing Proton Experimental from the Steam store and running it with that. So you do want to maybe run Resident Evil 4 Remake with Proton Experimental from the get-go. Now, if you don't know how to do that, just go into the game options, go down to compatibility, and make sure it's running Proton Experimental. That's the compatibility layer between Linux and Windows software like Resident Evil 4, right? So make sure that's done. Or use Proton GE. We've talked about that in previous videos, right? You'll also want to make sure you're using the latest SteamOS 3.4.6 version as well. Both this and Proton Experimental include some of Valve's own performance and stability improvements. That's all easy to set up too. Once you install Proton Experimental, Resident Evil 4 will launch through it by default. Alright, so let's get into this. Let's see how this game runs really fast, and then we'll talk about the best settings to use from Rock Paper Shotgun. Alright, let's go. So this video comes from Dominic Malta on YouTube. He's launching Resident Evil 4 right now. We're going to skim through this, take a little look here. So the game launches just fine with Proton Experimental. Make sure you're on the latest version of SteamOS as well. I can't believe we're playing games like Resident Evil 4 Remake on a handheld. How insane is that? So it looks like the controls work by default. Obviously, they've not got controller icons specifically for the Steam Deck inputs yet, although I hope they manage to do that at some point. I think that's what they're going to need if they want a verified status, right? They need to basically include Steam Deck inputs as part of the control settings in the game. This guy's playing with the graphic settings. We'll take a look at Rock Paper Shotgun's graphic suggestions in a little bit. Here we go with the cutscene. I'm not sure if this is pre-rendered or rendered in-game, but it's getting a solid 60 FPS right now with the settings this guy's using. He's getting 62 FPS. Hold on a second. The article said that it was very hard to get 60 FPS, but damn, this guy's getting damn close, isn't he? Okay. 47 getting dips into the 50s. So it's not looking like right now at this point in time we're going to get a solid 60 FPS throughout the entire game. It is going to get dips. You're going to be able to get close to 60, and it's 60 at times, but you are going to see little dips here and there down to the 50s and potentially the 40s, depending on what your graphic settings are, right? I mean, honestly, if you want to crank this thing up graphically, you know, lock it at 30, get the graphics cranked up and play it at 30. I think 30 FPS is going to be fine for this game, but if you want that little oomph, you want that little a little boost in FPS, then I don't think this is going to be, you know, I think you're going to be able to get it and not sacrifice too much in the graphic quality. Look at that. He's getting solid 60 FPS, 56 FPS. That is more than playable. More than playable. And just think about this. Once we get more graphics updates, once we get more APU drivers for the Steam Deck, as we get more versions or later builds of Proton and game optimization updates, I think we're going to see very close to a consistent 60 FPS over time, because that's what happens. Games improve over time with more updates. So I could see this thing getting better, and I can see the developers actually trying to optimize this for the Steam Deck. When you look at their sales numbers on PC, they're going to be like, wow, like 60% of our sales on PC have went to the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is just selling like hotcakes right now. So it's looking like you're getting good performance on the Steam Deck, so don't worry about picking this thing up. Like I said, just make sure you've got Proton Experimental installed, the latest version of SteamOS. I think there's a new AMD APU driver you can install as well for the Steam Deck, just to improve settings, improve the quality on Windows if you're on Windows, but obviously this is about SteamOS. So it does run, don't worry about buying it, okay? It's not going to not run. Just make sure you're using Proton Experimental, the latest version of SteamOS. And now let's take a look at some of the best graphic settings we can use to get the best out of this game, courtesy of Rock Paper Shotgun. Let's go. The Rock Paper Shotgun says, sadly, it's impossible for Resident Evil 4 to cement a solid 60 FPS on the Steam Deck's hardware at the moment, we'll just say that, even on rock bottom quality settings, with FSR2 upscale. I love that the Steam Deck supports FSR2 now. With FSR2 upscaling on the fastest ultra performance mode, it will drop into the 40 to 50 FPS range, though that's plenty playable. Damn right it is, and because a lot of Resident Evil 4's individual settings don't have much bearing on performance, it's possible to get close to that speed level while raising quality back up. So we saw that in the video, right? The clip from Dominic Malto on YouTube, right? He's getting close to 60 a lot, but it does dip into the 40 to 50 FPS range on occasion. And if you're in a big, you know, visually intensive scene with a lot of enemies and stuff like that, and there's a lot going on, obviously you are going to be dipping down into the 40 and 50s. But so let's take a look at his settings. So he says, I did try my PC optimized settings from the main Resident Evil 4 performance guide, and with one addition of the FSR2 in performance mode, these worked surprisingly well for the most part. They use the max preset as a framework, but with the following changes. So the max preset as the framework, these are the things you're going to want to change. So you're going to want to change ray tracing to off, okay? We've talked about the Steam Deck supporting ray tracing. It does support ray tracing, but at a cost to graphic fidelity, right? So you're going to want to turn ray tracing off for this. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Honestly, I'm not a massive fan of ray tracing. I think it makes a slight improvement, makes things look a little bit more realistic, but let's be realistic. You're not going to really want to be, you're not going to be getting the most out of ray tracing on something like the Steam Deck. Save that for your gaming PCs and your consoles, right? Texture quality set to high, 1 GB. Mesh quality mid, shadow quality mid, ambient occlusion to off, volumetric lighting mid, screen space reflections on, hair strands off, motion blur off, terrain off, lens distortion off, depth of field off, okay? Now he says these settings will generally get Resident Evil 4 running around 45 FPS, rising to 50 to 60 FPS in tight interiors, and I'd recommend these again in a second, where if it not for one specific section a few chapters in, where a combination of heavy weather effects and dense enemy hordes saw the dreaded sub 30 FPS drops. Now we're going to have to expect that during these intense scenes, but like I said, as Proton Experimental progresses, as it gets updated, as we get APU updates, as we get game updates, I would expect those sub 30 FPS moments to sort of, you know, die off, hopefully, fingers crossed. As Leon would say when faced with similarly overwhelming sense of grief and regret, oh no. Now, the writer says, it's up to you if you want to grit your teeth and just play this section at 25 to 28 FPS in exchange for high quality settings and good performance elsewhere. Or, if you want to stay well clear of the 30 FPS waterline, there is an alternative. This time, start with the fastest prioritized performance preset, then make the following amendments. So, texture filtering high, contact shadows on, volumetric lighting mid, particle lighting quality high, bloom on, screen space reflections on, subsurface scattering on, graphic dismemberment on, of course we want graphic dismemberment, persistent corpses on, corpse physics high, diverse enemy animations on, motion blur off, off, lens distortion off. FSR2 should also be in performance, but selecting the preset should ensure this by default. These settings will make the Resident Evil 4 Remake look outright better than the raw prioritized performance preset without really dropping its performance. That challenging storm scene now runs at around 38 FPS on average, and most of the time you're likely to be looking at 45 to 50 FPS, more than enough to get busy knife fighting parasites when you're out and about. And if you want to try squeezing a few more minutes out of the battery, you could also try the deck's own refresh rate settings to drop from 60Hz to 50Hz or even 45Hz. This will effectively cap the frame rate to an equal FPS value, but if you're not sustaining 60 FPS anyway, that's fine. So let me know what you think in the comments of those settings. Do you have Resident Evil 4 Remake? Are you planning on buying it? Does this video influence your opinion in any way, shape, or form? Are you more tempted to buy it now? Haven't seen the performance? I think this is a must-buy for the Steam Deck. If you love scary games, Resident Evil games, go for it, because I played Resident Evil Village, I think last year, the end of last year, I completed Resident Evil Village. I'm sort of immersing myself in the Resident Evil universe right now, so I'm open to trying new games. I've got a few more games before Resident Evil 4 I want to try and knock off, but I'll be streaming them on YouTube, so please subscribe, click the bell icon if you want to see me stream Resident Evil and perhaps even stream it on the Steam Deck, right? Now, before we go, let's just take a look at the graphic settings that guy was using, because as we saw, he got really good performance. He was getting like 60 FPS, even outside. All right, so let's take a quick look, because he does go through the graphics settings really briefly here. So let's see, graphics, here we go. So he's at 1280 by 800, 60 Hz, variable frame rate, full screen on, vertical stable synchronization on, full HD, ultra performance. Okay, so he's on Fidelity FX super resolution to set that to, he's got that set to ultra performance. How far does he go down? Let's see. Okay, so he's got image quality set to 100. I'm not seeing the full graphics settings here. Am I missing out here? Okay, here we go. So he's got super resolution off, super resolution 1 is off, super resolution 2 is ultra performance, rendering mode normal off, texture quality, recommended VRAM, he's got it set to medium, so 0.5 gigabytes of your VRAM, texture filtering medium, trillionaire, mesh quality, he's got that set to low, shadow quality set to low, shadow cache on, contact shadows off, ambient occlusion off, volumetric lighting off, so he's got a lot turned off to hit that pretty damn near 60 FPS constantly. Particle lighting quality low, bloom off, screen space reflections off, subsurface scattering off, hair strands off, just about everything turned off, few low. Basically, he's got his stuff set to low on everything. So the article is a benchmark. If you want pretty good quality, you want to enjoy the game visually as well and get decent performance, 30 to 50 to 60 FPS at the max. You know, these settings are pretty good, but if you just want to get damn near close to 60 FPS the whole way through and not worry about too much about quality and detail, then obviously the settings this guy has, just basically everything set to low, might be your way to do it. So there we go, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Steam Deck. Please do. And also go check out our Steam Deck website, okay? bestofdeck.com. Go check it out. Go subscribe. Post stuff, share news articles, talk about news articles, comment on news articles, find some interesting things like how to get the 2TB Steam Deck SSD for the cheapest price possible. And also go check out our Amazon list. I've created a list. I'm always adding stuff to it. So go check it out. If you want to find new and exciting Steam Deck accessories to level up your Steam Deck game, then go check this link out. I'll put a link in the top comment of the video and the video description for everything. Please go check this out. Click the follow button, share it, bookmark it, and check it on a regular basis, because I'm always adding stuff and there's a lot of cool stuff. All my favorite stuff is on there for you to buy on Amazon, right? So there we go, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Are you buying Resident Evil 4? I've asked you that multiple times in this video, but I'm excited to know in the comments. So let me know, and yeah, take care. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. I'm Blaze again. If you love Steam Deck content and want more every day on your YouTube homepage, please hit that subscribe, click the bell icon, and if you want to help out a little bit more, please like this video. Anyways, guys, take care. Enjoy your Steam Deck, because I certainly will. My Steam Deck. Bye, guys. Bye.